And really, it's just mouth-watering of that image. And we could easily blow it up even further. Still more complicated story with the great equatorial dark regions. In looking more carefully at the imagery of Tombaugh Regio, or the heart, like a real heart, it has two lobes on the left and on the right side. The left is the western side, and I think even to your eye you can distinguish a difference between those two. The right lobe looks like a much thinner deposit that's been painted on top of the topography. And our interpretation of that material in the right lobe, as well as the material emanating to the south below the western lobe, is that in both cases we believe the source for that material is the western lobe, that its material is being, bright material, probably nitrogen snow, is being transported off the source region of the western lobe, seem to be correlated. And this tells us that the payload that we brought back after the flyby, I think this is just fantastic. This is our equivalent.
This is one of our first images of Pluto's atmosphere. Now, this was the image that stunned the encounter team. For 25 years, we've known that Pluto has an atmosphere, but it's been known by numbers. This is our first picture. This is the first time we've really seen it. This was the image that almost brought tears to the eyes of the atmospheric scientists on the team. It formed complex hydrocarbons, like ethylene and acetylene, which were detected by New Horizons. Those haze particles are chemically processed to produce what we call tholins, which are chemically altered hydrocarbons that have a red color. And we think that that is how Pluto's surface got its reddish hue.
The grid on the image allows you to help draw your eye to that banding pattern. Pluto has a very complicated seasonal pattern of transport of ices. It takes 248 years for Pluto to go around the sun. And Pluto has a very eccentric orbit. So sometimes it's much closer to the sun than at other times. Also, additionally, Pluto's north pole is tilted over at an angle of about 120 degrees relative to the plane that it orbits in. All of these factors together cause us different parts of Pluto to get different amounts of sunlight. And the sunlight is powering the sublimation of the ices from the surface into the atmosphere. I should add is that those darker regions in the story I was telling of the seasonal...
More or less flat, icy plain that we have been informally calling Sputnik Planum. Just call it sort of polygonal or almost polygonal terrain. And you might think the ones on the left are different, but that's just because the sun is higher in the sky.